Hello friends, and welcome to jwreasoning.com. Well, just a few days ago they released the 2022 Governing Body Update number 2, so let's have a look.
Welcome. We have many updates to share. Of course, the world's attention has been fixed on events in Russia and Ukraine. As Jehovah's people, we are not surprised by such events. We're well aware that Russia and its allies fill the role described in Daniel chapter 11 as the King of the North. When the governing body first made this identification at the annual meeting in 2018,
if the organization knew how to study the Bible, that would be one thing, but they make this comment without any biblical support.
We mentioned that the King of the North had already taken possession of Crimea. When reading Daniel chapter 11, it's not surprising to see that the King of the North is interested in other territories. Certainly, this is the time to keep on the watch continually and to maintain our Christian neutrality. As of February 28, we have no deaths, but one reported injury among our brothers in Ukraine. Dozens of their homes have been damaged. Thousands of our brothers have fled areas of military conflict. We're keeping you, dear brothers and sisters, in Ukraine and Russia in our prayers. At the same time, we're doing everything possible to be sure that you'll have the needed spiritual food as well as the necessities of life.
Wouldn't it be nice if they would have used their thinking ability to be able to realize that by sending millions of letters, or however many were sent, to Russia, that this was going to stir the pot regarding Jehovah's Witnesses? Wouldn't it be nice if they would have thought about that before they did it? But this was almost, in my mind, a vindictive type of thing. Do you really think that the leaders of Russia, when they did the letter writing campaign to Russia, are going to sit down, oh, well, let's open up these letters and let's read what the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses have to say to us? No, all it did was it pushed their buttons and it made them upset.
With regard to legal matters, during the week of February 21, we had 3 significant court decisions. On February 22, a court in Ust-Abakan ruled to grant parole and release to 70-year-old Valentina Baranovskaya. Sister Baranovskaya has been in prison for the past 12 months. The prosecutor has until March 4th to appeal. If there is no appeal, then she could be released as early as March 5.
First of all, I want to commend Mark Sanderson on his pronunciation. That was done like a pro, I have to say. It sounded good to me. Now, I don't speak the native tongue of that sister, but it sounded really good. Secondly, I want to say that it's never good when anyone, for what they believe, is put into prison or persecuted. And I am not for Jehovah's Witnesses being persecuted in any way. I think they should have the right and the freedom to worship as they want. It's when they infringe upon the rights of others for choosing to believe something different than them that I really have an issue. If they want to believe what they believe, that's fine with me. But when they start telling me that I can't talk to my family because I believe something different, that's when I stand up and that's when I take offense. But they're welcome to believe whatever they want. I support freedom of belief and freedom to be able to speak and not speak to whom you wish, not to be told by a group of men or an organization.
Please keep dear Sister Baranovskaya in your prayers. On February 22, 2022, the European Court of Human Rights issued 2 significant judgments concerning our brothers in Russia. The cases involved searches and police detention affecting various brothers from 2010 to 2012. The court ruled in our favor and awarded damages to the 15 brothers and sisters who were involved in these cases. In total, the government of Russia will be required to pay nearly 100,000 euros. The court noted that the public ministry of Jehovah's Witnesses is a fundamental right that a public authority should not interfere with.
So I want to state this. When he says that number, 100,000 euros, it sounds like this is a tremendous amount of money that the Russian government is going to have to spend. But I looked it up and I knew it was pretty close, fairly close to the American dollar. I live in the United States, so I used the American dollar. And here's what he said. The court awarded damages to the 15 brothers and sisters who were involved in these cases. In total, the government of Russia will be required to pay nearly 100,000 euros. Well, as of March 8th, 2022, that's $109,000 that they have to pay to 15 people. Now, it says, the way he worded it, it says that that 100,000 euros is spread among all of them. So we're looking at about $7,267 per person. That's really not a huge victory monetarily, but the fact that they have the freedom to be able to do certain things that maybe they had lost before, that certainly is a victory. And again, I want to state this, and some of you may be upset about this, but in the United States of America, we have the freedom, for now, to be able to preach and teach and believe what we want, so long as we're not hurting other people in the process. The problem with the organization is they do hurt other people in the process. And this is where I draw the line. But as far as having freedom to be able to preach what you believe, I'm all for that. Whether you agree with me or not, I think that we should have the right to believe and to preach and to think and to reason with one another and to disagree. But we should do it in a loving and kind way. We should do it the way Jesus did it. In fact, to look at Luke chapter 9, verses 49 and 50. John speaking to Jesus, he answers Jesus, he says, "Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow with us." What's he saying? Well, he's not in our group. He's not with us. And we're trying to stop him from casting out demons. But notice Jesus' answer. Jesus replied in verse 50. It says, "But Jesus said to him, 'Do not forbid him, for he who is not against us is on our side.'" So when I read that text, it shows me that Jesus believed in freedom of speaking, that he would allow others to do things, even using his name. And you see, they weren't part of their little organization, were they? But they were casting out demons in Jesus' name. But let's continue with the video.
In many countries, the number of COVID-19 cases is dropping. Some governments are starting to relax or eliminate various restrictions. We hope that conditions will allow us to resume more of our theocratic activities in person.
I have mixed feelings about this. I wonder sometimes if the governing body really wants people coming together, because I'm sure their contributions are down. But at the same time, I know that most people that I talk to who communicate with me, who has family who are in, they love the arrangement of being able to sit home and watch through Zoom. And many of them just turn the Zoom meeting on and they walk away from the computer and they just let it play. A lot of people are doing this, and I think these men know it.
Yet, we want to maintain our cautious approach. The governing body has directed branch committees to monitor the situation in each part of their branch territory. Each branch committee may initiate or expand the pilot program for in-person meetings when it can be done safely. Will it be possible to hold an in-person memorial for your congregation this year? Only time will tell. In any case, this may be a good time for all of us to consider how we view our congregation meetings. If we can return to the Kingdom Hall, will we be ready to do so? Think about how we reason with our Bible students on the importance of attending meetings in Lesson 10 of the Enjoy Life Forever book.
So now we're going to quote a book like it's the Bible. The organization does this so often.
There it says, "Effort is required to attend meetings. Consider the example of Jesus' family. To attend a yearly event, they had to walk some 60 miles or 100 kilometers through mountainous terrain from Nazareth to Jerusalem. Then the book asks this question: why might you have to put forth effort to attend meetings? No doubt that soul-searching question has prompted some Bible students to begin to attend meetings. But maybe that's a question that we'll all have to think about. Going back to in-person meetings will take some effort on our part. But of course, we have to think about the blessings that come from in-person association with our brothers and sisters. We can just imagine how much Joseph and Mary and their children enjoyed being in person in Jerusalem when the city was filled with fellow worshipers of Jehovah. No doubt, the joy from being there helped Joseph and Mary realize that it was truly worth the effort.
When I watch this man speak, it reminds me of the old Dick and Jane books. Some of you who are my age or a little older probably remember these. And they were given to, a lot of times, preschoolers and kindergarten and first graders. And they kind of got a little more progressive. I think by the time somebody was out of first grade, you were past the Dick and Jane book. But they started off really simple. Here's a picture of it. It's Read with Dick and Jane. And this particular one is called Fun with Dick and Jane. To me, this is what this man sounds like. This is the mentality that he thinks that you, the rank and file Jehovah's Witness, are. He thinks that you have this Dick and Jane mentality. I'm just going to read 2 pages from this book. Take a look. Something pretty. Mother said, "Look, look, see this." "Oh, oh," said Sally, "it is pretty." "Yes, yes," said Jane. "Mother looks pretty." "Look, Sally," said Jane, "here is something pretty. Something pretty for you and me." "Oh, Jane," said Sally, "I want something. I want something red. I want something blue." And the governing body loves you. You see, you could put that right in there and it would fit with the mentality and the tone of voice that this man is using. It's really frustrating to me, and it's very, very condescending to Jehovah's Witnesses. Yet, they will sit there, and it's happened so gradually that they don't even realize it. They sit there and they listen to it, and they act like, oh, this brother's speaking for God. He's a godsend. He's actually speaking in the place of our great Creator. Aren't we grateful that Jehovah has sent these men to us so that we have the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses? It's really sickening to me.
Likewise, our joy in being at the Kingdom Hall with our dear brothers and sisters will far outweigh any initial inconvenience. Until we can return to the Kingdom Hall, we appreciate the fine effort that you, dear brothers and sisters, make to attend the meetings on Zoom. By connecting early and staying after, we have more opportunities to do what's mentioned at Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. And let us consider one another so as to incite to love and fine works, not forsaking our meeting together, as some have the custom, but encouraging one another, and all the more so as you see the day drawing near.
Now, when he read this, it struck me that was different than what I was used to. Notice what it says. Let me put it on the screen for you. He's reading from the 2013 edition. And let us consider one another so as to incite love and fine works, not forsaking our meeting together. Now, the 1984 edition says, not forsaking the gathering of ourselves together. You know, I wonder if they changed this so that you would go to the meetings, because if some people are just gathering together and say, look, we're gathering, we're coming together, and that's one of the answers they would get a lot of times. I would hear that, you know, we're not to forsake the gathering of ourselves together. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, I would say that to somebody. And they would say, oh, we get together all of the time, and we have Bible studies, and we get together in this home or in that place, and we come together. But to me, when I look at this and I see that it says meeting together, it's so that you're at the meetings whether it's at the Kingdom Hall meetings or on the Zoom meetings, it has to be Jehovah's Witnesses meeting. It's not just gathering together to talk about the Bible. It has to be structured and given to you by the faithful slave.
We can experience the joy of giving as we actively encourage our brothers and sisters, inciting them to love and fine works. Of course, why do we put forth all of this effort? Why do we work so hard to maintain our own spirituality and encourage others? Because we want to keep our relationship with Jehovah strong, and at the same time, take our stand against our great adversary, Satan the devil. Remember the warning recorded at 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. There we read, "Keep your senses, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking to devour someone." While the devil doesn't cause all our problems, he's always looking for a way to use them. He would love to use the stress and isolation of the pandemic to weaken our faith or to sidetrack us with his propaganda. What can help us? Note what's stated in verse 9. "But take your stand against him, firm in the faith, knowing that the same kind of sufferings are being experienced by the entire association of your brothers in the world." Simply put, all of Jehovah's people are facing the same attack. Although our challenges may be different, no matter where we live on this earth, we are under attack. But when we meditate on what our brothers and sisters in other places are dealing with, it can help us to see our challenges differently. For example, think about our brothers and sisters facing natural disasters and persecution. So far this service year, our brothers have been affected by over 120 disasters. Consider a few examples. In December, Typhoon Rai, locally known as Odette, devastated the Philippines. Sadly, 4 publishers died, a dozen were injured, and over 2,000 were displaced. And can you imagine? Over 1,700 of our brothers' homes were damaged or destroyed. Then, in January, Tropical Storm Anna struck southeastern Africa. Sadly, one brother lost his wife and 2 children. 3 brothers and a child were injured. Over 2,000 were displaced, and over 400 of our brothers' homes were damaged or destroyed. And on February 15, heavy rainstorms and mudslides hit Brazil. Unfortunately, one of our brothers and his 2-year-old son were swept away by a mudslide. The father survived despite serious injuries, but tragically, his son died. Sadly, another brother also died. We continue to pray for all who have lost loved ones or who have been affected by these recent disasters. In addition to natural disasters, our brothers also face civil unrest. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, many of our brothers and sisters in several regions have had to flee their villages and fields. Yet with Jehovah's help, we've been able to provide over 81 tons of food to assist more than 19,600 people. We deeply appreciate your support of our brothers and sisters who are facing disasters. Your prayers and generous donations are having a tremendous impact. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Despite all these disasters, our brothers and sisters remained firm in the faith. Let's hear how some in Congo, the Philippines, and the Caribbean feel about the help they've received.
I sincerely thank Jehovah for the material support to help me return to my normal life.
For me, thank you is not enough to express my appreciation for all the good things that we received. Since I was among those who were helped to have damaged houses repaired, the brothers really helped us.
Despite the difficulties brought on by Typhoon Odette, Jehovah did not abandon us. He helped us. On the very next day, the brothers contacted us and provided us food and helped us repair our house. We're so thankful for Jehovah's help and for providing us our needs so that we can continue with our lives.
I sincerely thank Jehovah and his organization for the love they have shown us during this time that we became victims of the volcanic eruption.
We don't know what words to use to express our gratitude. It's like Jehovah has taken us by the hand, caring for us, and saying, "Do not be afraid, I will help you." Honestly, we are very thankful.
Thank you so much for giving us this house because our house burned down. And to you, servants of Jehovah, I want to tell you thank you, thank you, thank you.
When I left with the clothes on my back.
The condition that we left our home in and coming back and seeing the work that the brothers did for us, I don't know how to put it into words.
I love and appreciate every single one of you and what you have done for us. You will never understand just how much it means to know that we don't have to do this by ourselves.
To really experience Jehovah's hand and his love.
We got to feel Jehovah's life.
I'm very, very thankful to see Jehovah's blessing.
When I look at this, I just see that this is propaganda. While I know they're helping people and I'm glad these people are receiving help, I'm grateful that there's somebody going there to help them. This is a propaganda thing. It's the organization blowing their horn. But really what they've done is they have picked 3 of places that were devastated, no doubt, and they needed help. I'm glad they helped them. But they're making it look like they've spent all of this money doing that. But they picked 3 of the lowest income places to point to and say, look what we've done. You see, it's not about really spending the money to help the people and getting the funding to help them. How much money could they raise if they went to the Kingdom Halls and says, look, we really need to help these people. Let's get a food truck together. Let's do these things. You see, they do it all controlling in the organization. Many churches will put together food banks individually, and they'll have people, they'll take up an offering. They call it a love offering or a donation to help these needy people. And all of that funding goes to them. Why doesn't the organization do that? Why don't they ask for funds for that purpose? The rest of the video is talking about persecution. Much of that is brought on themselves. They bring it on themselves, particularly in Russia. But let's look at the closing words of this video.
As we've been reminded in this update, our brothers and sisters worldwide continue to stand firm in the faith despite military actions, a global pandemic, disasters, and persecution. Brothers and sisters, as 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8 says, keep your senses, be watchful. Our adversary, Satan the devil, has filled this world with his satanic propaganda. Be cautious. Take your stand against him. As the world becomes more and more nationalistic and divided, we will not compromise our neutrality. We will remain united in our loyalty to God's kingdom and in our love for one another. Continue to listen to the voice of our fine shepherd, Jesus Christ, and his appointed channel, the faithful and discreet slave. Our Almighty God, Jehovah, is with us, and we have our worldwide brotherhood to support us. No matter what trials lay ahead, we have everything we need to remain faithful to Jehovah. Dear brothers and sisters, we love you all very much. Thank you. From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is JW Broadcasting.
There's that hand to the chest again. We love you all very much. You know, I find it interesting. He could not help it. He had to mention the faithful slave and how they are providing. This is the channel that Jehovah is using. Friends, I hope that this video shakes you a little bit. I hope that the more you see these things, the more you watch these things, that you see the insincerity, the mechanical gestures, the things that they're doing, what's being said. Is it from the heart or is it scripted? Are the gestures, are they told to take your hand and put it here when you talk about that? You know, it just bothers me. And I hope that you continue to study your Bibles. Remember, friends, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through him. It's not through an organization. It's not through a group of men. It's not by being at the Kingdom Hall or at your meetings or on your Zoom meetings or by knocking on doors. So friends, I hope you continue to study. And my prayer for you is that Jehovah will continue to bless you until we meet again.